Have you ever wondered why some people apologize for everything, even when they have done nothing wrong? Why some people panic when someone sounds slightly angry? Why some people overthink one text message for hours or feel guilty for simply resting? What if I told you many of these habits don't start in adulthood? They start in childhood, because childhood trauma doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks normal from the outside, a house, a school, a family photo smiling at the camera, but behind closed doors, constant criticism, emotional neglect, fear, silence, pressure, walking on eggshells, and the scariest part, many people don't even realize their personality was shaped by survival mode. So here are 10 habits that often come from childhood trauma, and you might recognize yourself in more of these than you expect. So, habit number 1, apologizing constantly. Do you say sorry for tiny things? Sorry for asking questions. Sorry for talking too much. Sorry for existing too loudly. Even when someone bumps into you, do you apologize first? That habit usually doesn't come from kindness alone. It often comes from growing up in an environment where making mistakes felt dangerous. Maybe every small error led to yelling, punishment, or disappointment. So your brain adapted. You learned that apologizing quickly could reduce conflict. And now, even as an adult, your nervous system still acts like you're trying to survive. Habit number 2, overthinking everything. Have you ever reread a message 10 times before sending it? Or spent hours thinking about one awkward interaction? Why do traumatized people do this? Because children raised in unpredictable environments become hyper-alert. Their brain constantly scans for danger. Tone changes, facial expressions, mood shifts, silence. They learn to analyze everything because as kids, missing those signals could lead to emotional pain. So now, even peaceful situations feel stressful. Your brain keeps asking, what if something goes wrong? Even when nothing is wrong at all. Habit number 3, struggling to accept compliments. Someone says you're talented, and immediately your brain says they're just being nice. Someone calls you attractive, and you instantly reject it internally. Why? Because if you grew up rarely receiving emotional validation, compliments can actually feel uncomfortable. Deep down, your self-image was shaped by criticism, neglect, or impossible standards, so positive words feel unfamiliar, and humans tend to reject what feels unfamiliar, even when it's good for them. Habit number 4, being emotionally numb. Do you ever feel disconnected from your own emotions? Like you don't even know what you truly feel anymore. This happens to many people who had to suppress emotions growing up. Maybe crying got you mocked. Maybe expressing feelings caused arguments. Maybe nobody listened anyway, so eventually your brain learned something dangerous. Emotions are unsafe, and after years of emotional shutdown, many adults stop feeling deeply altogether, not because they're cold, but because their mind learned survival through numbness. Number 5, becoming a people pleaser. Do you constantly try to keep everyone happy? Are you terrified of disappointing people? Do you struggle to say no even when you're exhausted? That often begins in childhood, especially in homes where love felt conditional, where being good meant staying quiet, avoiding conflict, or taking care of everyone else's emotions. So the child learns, if people are upset with me, I'm unsafe. And years later, that child becomes an adult who sacrifices their own mental health just to avoid rejection. Habit number 6, feeling guilty while resting. This one hits hard for a lot of people. Have you ever sat down to relax and suddenly felt anxious? Like you should be doing something productive every second? Many traumatized children were praised only when achieving something. Good grades, good behavior, success, productivity, but rarely for simply existing. So they grow into adults who tie their entire self-worth to performance. Rest feels lazy. Slowing down feels wrong. And no matter how much they accomplish, they still feel not good enough. Number 7, pushing people away. Do you crave connection? But the second someone gets close, you become distant? Why do people do that? Because closeness can feel terrifying when trust was broken early in life. Maybe the people who were supposed to protect you also hurt you. Maybe love always came with pain, manipulation, or abandonment. So now your brain associates attachment with danger. Part of you wants love desperately, while another part says, don't trust anyone. That internal battle destroys many relationships before they even begin. Number 8, needing constant validation. Why do some people depend so heavily on approval? Likes, attention, compliments, reassurance. Because deep down, they never developed stable self-worth as children. Their value depended on outside reactions, parents' approval, teachers' praise, other people's opinions. So as adults, they keep searching for externally what they never built internally. And the scary part? No amount of validation ever feels permanent, because the wound underneath was never healed. Number 9, hyper-independence. This one looks like strength on the outside. Some people refuse help no matter how overwhelmed they are. They do everything alone. They trust nobody completely. They say things like, I got it, even when they're drowning internally. But hyper-independence is often a trauma response, because at some point, depending on others led to disappointment. So the brain adapts by saying, never need anyone again. And while independence is healthy, emotional isolation is not. Number 10, always expecting the worst. Do you ever feel anxious when life is finally going well? Like your brain keeps waiting for disaster? That's what happens when someone grows up in chaos. Their nervous system becomes addicted to survival mode. Peace feels unfamiliar. Calm feels suspicious. So even in safe situations, the brain keeps searching for danger that doesn't exist anymore. And honestly, this may be the saddest effect of childhood trauma. Some people become so used to suffering that happiness itself starts feeling uncomfortable. But here's something important. None of these habits mean you're weak. They don't mean you're broken. They're adaptations. Survival strategies your brain created to protect you during difficult experiences. The problem is survival mode that protects a child can slowly destroy an adult, because constantly apologizing destroys confidence. Overthinking destroys peace. People-pleasing destroys identity. Emotional numbness destroys connection. And healing begins the moment someone finally recognizes the pattern. Think about it. How many behaviors do people call personality traits that are actually hidden trauma responses? The quiet person, the angry person, the perfectionist, the workaholic, the emotionally distant person. Sometimes those behaviors are scars, not personality. And maybe the strangest part of all this is how many people are walking around carrying childhood pain without even realizing it. Adults who still feel like scared children internally. Adults who laugh normally in public but fight silent battles in their head every day. Adults who became successful, smart, funny, or independent, but still feel emotionally unsafe deep down. So if you related to some of these habits, ask yourself this question. What parts of your personality were truly you, and what parts were created just to survive? Because understanding that difference can change someone's entire life. And maybe healing doesn't start with fixing yourself. Maybe it starts with realizing you were adapting to things no child should have had to adapt to in the first place. So the next time you overthink, the next time you apologize too much, the next time you feel guilty for resting or terrified of disappointing people, remember this. Your mind learned those habits for a reason. You can comment your opinion. I'll try to reply it.